Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Topshelfoldies. Want to welcome you to the July 4th, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this 4th of July evening as somebody's shooting fireworks. They've been shooting fireworks here all day long. Isn't that illegal to shoot? Well, at least in New York it is, not in all states. But you're going to hear some pops and bangs behind me. I can't see. Somebody was doing something over the Hudson tonight. But anyway, thanks for being here. I'm featuring some cool 1950s and early 60s vocal group harmony out of my collection. That was kind of a mellow sound there that I opened up with. Now, on the last 50s edition, I played a request for the doo-wop couple by the Furness Brothers out of Philadelphia, PA. They were from Philadelphia, PA. It was on the Future label. It was called I Wanna Date With You. It was a vocal. And you just heard the instrumental Flip Side, written by Bill Furness, who not only sang, but he also played piano on that. Played on their recordings. Actually, they played all their instruments. And this tune was called You Name It. Was recorded at the famous Rico Art Studios in Philadelphia. And this group goes way back to the 1930s, by the way. But as they recorded under a lot of different names, like the Three Keys, the Four Keys, the Furness Men. And we just heard the Furness Brothers there. The Furness Brothers from 1957. With their tune called You Name It on the Future label. Well, let's start it off here with the vocal portion. Picked out, I think, a nice selection, lots of B-sides from 2 weeks ago, some rarities out of my collection, and lots of requests. So let's open up the vocal portion with the second of 7 on Sid Nathan's Deluxe label, and let's give a listen to Donnie Elbert. Donnie Elbert, a second of 7 on Deluxe, July 57. It's called Believe It or Not.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, believe it or not, I'm in love, and I want you to be my lovey dove. Well, believe it or not, you got my heart, and it's been yours from the start. Well, you're going to be my baby some bright and sunny day. Oh, the day you come to me, you light my life in every way. Well, believe it or not, I've never felt this way before. Say that you'll be mine forevermore. Yeah, yeah, well, you're going to be my baby some bright and sunny day. Oh, the day you come to me, you light my life in every way. Well, believe it or not, I've never felt this way before. Say that you'll be mine forevermore. Well, now believe it or not.
Yeah, we open up the vocal portion there with a cool tune. Donnie Elbert and a group. July 1957 on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label. Believe it or not, that's his second of 7 for Deluxe. Now, Donnie was originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but he relocated to Buffalo, New York, and he was involved with the Vibra Harps there for a while, but he has other cool releases, by the way. VJ Records, the J-Lin label, P&L Records, Red Top Records, Parkway Records, Cub Records. Goes into the 1960s also, but again, cool tunes here to open up the vocal portion. Let's continue here with a request for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dar Dorothy. They're listening in the state of Michigan. They requested the great Solitaires. The Solitaires from Harlem, New York. This is their 14th of 18 releases on High Weiss's Old Town record label. It features Milton Love on lead. This one from August 58. The Solitaires on Old Town with Big Mary's House.
Well, going down to Big Mary's house, we're gonna have a ball. Going down to Big Mary's house, I come and wanna be on. We gonna rock, yeah, we gonna roll. We gonna stop, yeah, we gonna stroll. Oh yeah, Big Mary's house. When we got down to Big Mary's house, you know the lights are down low. When we got down to Big Mary's house, you know the lights are down low. Tony Sue, she was dancing too. She was like on the shows, I tell you, at Mary's house. Oh yeah, Mary's house. Woo! The party was just about over, but nobody was going home. Me and Big Mary were dancing, slapping and doing the stroll. And now I know what it's all about. When I go down to Big Mary's house, now I know what it's all about. When I go down to Big Mary's house, we gonna rock, yeah, we gonna roll. We gonna pop, yeah, we gonna stroll in Mary's house.
As by request for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy, the Solitaires, August 1958 release on the Old Town record label Big Mary's House. Well, you're in Johnny G's house every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here. I spin original vinyl 45s out of my collection, so let's continue here. And lots of requests tonight. Here's our first as we count down the music chronologically here. I got an early one from May of 1951. It's for Joe Shacatano. He requested the debut single for this great group out of Baltimore, Maryland. This was a number 9 Billboard R&B hit for the group. Co-written by the group's lead singer. His name is Eddie Rich. Going out to Joe Shacatano, May 1951. Eddie Rich and the Swallows here on the King label. It's called Will You Be Mine?
Will you be mine as you were once before? I've always been the same. So my darling, who's to blame? Am I a fool? What's this thing all about? Did I do wrong? Or are you in doubt? I do nothing but wonder, hoping you'll come back. I can't stand it much longer. Darling, this is no act. I'll pray till then. but you could say sometime. I'll ask again, can and will you be mine?
I do nothing but wonder, hoping that you'll come back. I can't stand it much longer, darling, this is no act.
I'll pray till then, but you could say sometime. I'll ask again, can and will you be mine?
That's Eddie Rich and the Swallows by request for Joe Shacatano. That's their debut single, came out on Sid Nathan's King record label. That one goes way back to May 1951. A song entitled Will You Be Mine? Will you be Johnny G's here for a Saturday evening? Stick around till about midnight. We actually go longer than that, but let's continue here. And a whole bunch of flip sides tonight, as I mentioned, from my last 50 show, which about 2 weeks ago. Last week was my all 60s. I do that the last Saturday of the month. But I featured the debut single for Richard Barrett and the Valentines. Came out on High Weiss's Old Town label. The song was called Summer Love. Now, was listener Daryl Letts asked if I could play the flip. We're going to do that. I was going to do it anyway, even if Daryl didn't request it. But it's a great tune. I love this tune, written by the lead singer, Richard Barrett. We go back to November 1954, High Weiss's Old Town record label. Give a listen to the Valentines with their classic tune. It's called Tonight, Kathleen.
Kathleen, we'll make our love grow stronger, dear. Oh, how I wish that were here. I love you so, Kathleen, my Kathleen. Tonight, Kathleen, I'll prove my love to you, my dear. Oh, how I wish that you were here under this golden moon. Oh, how I love you. Oh, how I need you, my dear, my Kathleen. Deeper I want you. Oh, how I need you, my dear, my Kathleen too. Oh, my Kathleen.
That's a debut single. Woo! Debut single for Richard Barrett and the Valentines. Yes, I wish I had it on a nice mint 78. I would say that, but those are the Valentines. That's their first release on High Weiss's Old Town record label, November 1954. Tonight, Kathleen. I think I first heard, didn't Alan Freed put that on one of his LPs? I think. I'm not be mistaken. But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year 1954. Now, in the last 50's edition, I played a request for George Tompkins. He requested the Spartans on the Capri label. They were out of Cleveland, Ohio, a very rare 45. And George requested the intended B-side. It was called Lost, a killer ballad by this group, but the flip is a cool jump, and it was a song that Alan Freed would play on when he was a DJ in Cleveland, Ohio, on his WJW show. This features Richard Howard on lead. Let's go back to May 1954. It's on the Capri label. These are the Spartans with the A-side. It's called Faith, Hope, and Charity.
I woke up one fine Sunday and wished that I was gone. The big world seemed too tough for me, and I felt like doing wrong. I faith, a hope, and a charity. I faith, a hope, and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. I dressed and I went to church. The wise man said to me, there are three things in this world, son: faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. Revelation found me that these were God's own ways. The faith, the hope, and a charity. The faith, the hope, and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. And I found that best to believe and I pray for all mankind. And if I give a little bread, much happiness I'd find. I pay the hope and a charity. I pay the hope and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity.
That group is called the Spartans. A rare 45 it is. It's on the Capri label. Capri Records there, May 1954. The Spartans with Faith, Hope, and Charity. And Richard Howard, he's the lead singer. Let's move to 1955 now with another flip from a couple weeks ago. I featured the Laurels. The Laurels with Bobby Relf on lead on the X label, a subsidiary of RCA Records. The side I featured was called 'Tis Night. Let's give a spin to the flip before this one goes back down in the no humidity basement. This is from June 55. I have it on a promo copy here. The Laurels with Truly, Truly.
Truly, truly, yes. Truly, 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 yes, I am yours. Ooh, baby, baby, it's you. Please don't leave me sad and blue. Can't you see that I'm in love with you? Oh, don't you know? Don't you know? I love you so. I love you so. Yes, and I'll never, yes, I'll never let you go. Oh, don't you know? It's you I adore. And I love you, yes, I love you all the more. Truly, truly, yes. Truly, 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 yes. Oh,
Yeah, that's Bobby Ralph and the Laurels there, June 1955. On the RCA subsidiary X Records, Truly, Truly is the name of that one. There's a Peppermint Harris on there that's good, Warren. And there's a couple others. I think the harp tones are backing up the Wilson sisters, I think. It was Greg told me about that. There's a couple records, or more than a couple. Of course, you can get the Three Chuckles on the X label. Some people think they might be too popish, but I think they're worth collecting. But anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We're spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it so there it is. It's the Woodside sisters. John Clemente got it. We're playing original vinyl 45s. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1955. We stay out in California. Now, this is a female lead with male backing on the Chief label. This is the label that's on the West Coast, not the Chicago Chief label. Some places get them mixed up. Believe me, they do. But George Tompkins requested this, and he wanted me to send this one out to John Clemente. They are both in our YouTube chat room. This song written by the lead singer. Her name is Joanne Boswell. Let's go back to December of 1955 on the Chief label. It's Joanne Boswell with the L-tones, and the tune is called You Were Meant for Me.
You were made for me. would be blue. I need you so. Don't ever go. My dear, you set my poor heart on fire. You are my one desire. You were meant for me.
December 1955 release there. The only release for Joanne Boswell with the L-Tones on the Chief label. It's out of California. It's called You Were Meant for Me. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. We are in the year 1955, and on the last 50 show, played a request for Joe Shacatano, the debut single for the James Shepard and the Heartbeats, but they were known as the Heartbeats Quintet on their first release, which came out on the network label. Now, Joe requested the A-side called Tormented. Let's give a spin to the up-tempo flip that was written by the lead, James Shepard, and it's with Russell Jaquette and his orchestra. He also owned the network label. We're going to send this one out to Reed King, who's in our YouTube chat room here from January 55. These are the Heartbeats Quintet on the network label. It's called After Everybody's Gone.
Everybody's gone and my baby's still here. Sit down, baby, and have a beer. We're gonna rock tonight. We're gonna rock tonight. We're gonna have a party after everybody's gone. Well, she said, rock, rock, rock me, baby daddy. Rock, rock, rock me, oh baby. Rock, rock, rock me, baby daddy. Rock, rock, rock me, oh baby. 'Cause we're gonna have a party after everybody's gone. Well, I said, sit down, baby, sit in that chair. Don't give me any trouble, 'cause ain't nobody here. We're gonna rock tonight. We're gonna rock tonight. We're gonna have a party after everybody's gone. Rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-rock-a-rock, rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-rock-a-rock, rock-a-bye, baby, 'cause you're gonna have a party after everybody's gone. Well, she cried, rock me, ooh, daddy, daddy, thrill me, ooh, baby, rock me, ooh, daddy, daddy, squeeze me, ooh, baby, rock me, ooh, daddy, daddy, hold me. 'Cause we're gonna have a party after everybody's gone. 'Cause we're gonna have a party after everybody's gone.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, the Heartbeats Quintet there. January 1955, it's on the network label. After Everybody's Gone is the name of that one as we continue here. And the next four records will also be flip sides from a couple of weeks ago. And a couple of weeks ago, I played a request for George Tompkins by the Pyramids on Sid Nathan's Federal label. It was called Deep in My Heart for You. It was a killer ballad. Actually, both sides are great on this 45 tune, written by Johnny Otis. Also wrote the flip side. It was listener Daryl Letts that asked if I'd play the flip side, and we're going to give it a spin right now. It features Sydney Korea on lead. This one from August 1955, the Pyramids on Federal. It's called End I Need You.
Everybody needs somebody,
Darling, I need you.
and I need you.
Yes, I do.
Everybody needs someone,
Someone to love.
and I need you. Oh, baby, you know it's you. Oh, no one else will do. Oh, baby, you make me blue. Oh, love, I love only you. Everybody needs someone, and I need you. Everybody need a friend, and I need you. Oh, baby, you made me blue. Oh, I'm losing my head over you. Oh, you squeeze me and you tease me. Say you never leave me. Everybody needs somebody, and I need you. Everybody need a friend, and I need you.
As going out to Daryl Letts there, The Pyramids, August 1955. It's on the Federal label. It's called And I Need You. As we continue here, yes, George Tompkins swears that is Richard Berry there, and I kind of agree. You know, the promo, just because what it says on the labels doesn't mean it's real. A lot of groups were moonlighting at the time, so they couldn't really come out in the open and say, you know, that was them. But anyway, let's continue here. We are in the year actually we're moving to 56 now. As I played a request for the Colonel, he requested the 5 Crowns on the Transworld. I featured it on the Transworld label. It was called I Can't Pretend. And that I featured my copy on Transworld. It was also released on the Caravan label. And there are different opinions as to which one is first. I read that today. But it doesn't really make any difference to me. I have them both. But listener Daryl Letts asked if I could play the A-side, which actually was a hit regionally for this group. It was a number 2 record on WAAT, a station out of Newark, New Jersey. It features Wilbur Yankee Paul on lead. So we're going to send this one out to Daryl from June of 56, the 5 Crowns. I'm featuring it on Transworld. It's called Popcorn Willie.
Woo! Popcorn Willie, Long Leg Tilly, Blue Jean Betty, Gap Teeth Freddy. Come on everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Well now Mama and Papa, Sister too. Come on Grandma, what's the matter with you? Come on everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Mama told Papa, rock and roll got to go. Reggae start Freddie. Come on, everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Well, now look at Papa. He's real hip. Look at Grandma. Dig that step. Come on, everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Mama told Papa, rock and roll's got to go. Records stop playing. Oh, Popcorn Willie, Long Leg Tilly, Blue Jean Betty, Gap Teeth Freddie. Come on, everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Well, now look at Papa. He's real hip. Look at Grandma. Dig that step. Come on, everybody, let's rock and roll tonight. Everybody, let's rock and roll tonight.
Yeah, those are the Five Crowns, a cool rockin' tune there from June 1956. Featured it on the Transworld record label, also came out on the Caravan label. The interesting thing is there's 2 writer credits on the Transworld, 4 writer credits on the Caravan, and also covered by the Marquis on the Rainbow label. They used the 4 writers. So I don't know what was up with this record. But that's a cool tune going out to Daryl Letts. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1956. Now, 2 weeks ago, I played a request for Joe Shacatano. He requested the Notes on the MGM record label. Was their second overall release for on the MGM label. Their first was on Capitol, but it was called Trust in Me. And listener George Tompkins asked if I could flip the 45 over. It's the group's, as I mentioned, second release. This one features Ray McElwain on lead. We go to September 1956. These are the Notes on MGM. It's called Round and Round.
I'll never, never know. You got me spinning like a top from head to toe. You got me dizzy over you. Round and round I go. Can't even recognize the people that I know. Sometimes when I say yes, I really do mean no. You got me dizzy over you. Oh, what can I do? It's all up to you to straighten my poor heart out. Each time you are near, I just know, my dear, I wanna shout. Round and round I go, and where my heart will stop, I never, never know. You got me spinning like a top from head to toe. You
Those are the notes. Reminds me of Wheel of Fortune. That'd be a good segue to Wheel of Fortune, but that one there, the notes, September 1956, going out to George Tompkins on the MGM label. Round and Round featured Ray McElwain on leads, and George mentioned sounds a lot like Otis Williams. Yes, he did. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. And another request I played a couple of weeks ago was for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy Feba. I played the second release by the Youngsters. The Youngsters, a group out of Los Angeles, California, on the Empire label. It was called Shattered Dreams. They also requested the flip side, which was written by George Mottola. He also co-owned this label, Empire Records, together with Helen Kernett and Emil Bailey, and this trio also owned a label called HEG. Those are the initials of their first names, Helen, Emil, and George. Heg Records. I got a couple records on that label. But anyway, this is a request for the doo-wop couple. It features Charles Everidge on lead. This one from April 1956, the Youngsters on Empire. It's called Rockin' Rollin' Cowboy.
Have you ever heard the story of the cowboy from Santa Fe? He roamed around the country, rockin' and rollin' all the way. They call him the rockin' rollin' cowboy. Rockin' rollin' cowboy. They call him the rockin' rollin' cowboy. The rockin' rollin' cowboy. He taught all the cattle to rock, roll, and rattle with the yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yi, with the yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yi. He's a rockin' and rollin', a jinglin' janglin' cowboy. Yippee-yi-yi. He's a rockin' and rollin', a jinglin' janglin' cowboy. Yippee-yi-yi. He's a happy, happy cowboy. Everybody has made the change. He has the population rockin' and rollin' on the range. They call him the rockin' rollin' cowboy. The rockin' rollin' cowboy. They call him the rockin' rollin' cowboy. The rockin' rollin' cowboy. His new syncopation has caused a sensation in his home on the range. Home on the range. In his home on the range. Home on the range. He's a rockin' and rollin', a jinglin' janglin' cowboy. Yippee-yi-yi. He's a rockin' and rollin', a jinglin' janglin' cowboy. Yippee-yi-yi. Now that you heard my story of the cowboy from Santa Fe, if you should go out west and see a cyclone come your way, it's made by the rockin' rollin' cowboy. The rockin' rollin' cowboy. It's made by the rockin' rollin' cowboy. The rockin' rollin' cowboy. He rocks while a straddle and rolls in the saddle with the yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi. He rocks while a straddle and rolls in his saddle with the yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi, with the yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi. He rocks while I straddle and rolls in his saddle with the yippee-yi-yi, a yippee-yi-yi, with the yippee-yi-yi.
As going out to Ron and Dorothy there, the Youngsters from April 1956. It's on the Empire record label, their tune called Rockin' Rollin' Cowboy. Charles Everidge, he's on lead. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1956, and we will return to more flip sides in a little bit, but here's a request for Joe Shacatano. I'm sure he loves to listen to this group out of Baltimore, Maryland. I say that because a few weeks ago he requested their 11th of 12 on the Atlantic label, their tune called The End of the Story. That is an excellent tune. He also requested their 10th on Atlantic, and it features Ernie Warren on lead. I like this tune also from March of 56. It's going out to Joe. The Cardinals on Atlantic, and it's called Offshore on Styrene.
Offshore far into the night. Lights will turn to shadows as a ship with my dreams fades out of sight. Offshore, deep into darkness, you come into view. Out there on our island, smiling at me through the haze in the blue. My misty eyes will always be crying for you. My empty arms regret the day they let you go. My lonely heart will always be sighing for you. Darling, you should know that I miss you so. Oh, sure, that's where my heart goes. Far across the sea. Soon we'll be together. Till then, always look offshore, dear, of me.
By request for Joe Shacatana or Ernie Warren, the great Ernie Warren, and the Cardinals, March 1956 on the Atlantic label, their tune called Offshore. That's Ernie Warren and the Cardinals, a great group they are. You know, their first record doesn't come on a 45, only on a 78, their first release on the Atlantic label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and a couple weeks ago I played a request for listener Pat. He requested the Four Lovers, a group out of Newark, New Jersey. Of course, eventually they became a super group, you all know, of course, the Four Seasons. But Pat requested their second of five for the RCA record label. It was a cover of a Drifters tune, you know, the Honey Love by the Drifters. The Flip is another cover that was first recorded by Fats Domino, and they performed this song live on the Ed Sullivan Show on May 6th, 1956. You can actually find the clip on YouTube. It's there. It's pretty interesting because they do You're the Apple of My Eye in the, I guess, the first half hour. Then they bring them back and they do this song and they do it live. So let's give a spin here to the 45 from April 56. The Four Lovers on RCA doing the Fats Domino tune, Please Don't Leave Me.
Please don't leave me
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Four Lovers. Four Lovers there. I don't know, Frankie Valli in there. And actually, Fred mentions only two. I thought maybe three of those guys went on to be the Four Seasons, but he says two. The Four Lovers there, April 1956 on the RCA record label. Please Don't Leave Me, as we say goodnight to George Tompkins. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, a couple weeks ago I featured a request for George by the Tempo-Mentals. Tempo-Mentals out of Los Angeles, California on Lenora Roop's Ebb label. Featured the tune called Burning Desire. I also like the flip side. It was written by group member Melvin White. This one features Joe Dandy on lead. This one charted number 24 on KWBR, a station out of Oakland, California. Let's give a listen to the Tempo-Mentals. This one from July 57 on the Ebb label. It's called Dearest. Called the Tempo-Mentals. Tempo-Mentals there, July 1957 release on the Ebb record label. Their tune called Dearest featured Joe Dandy on lead. We are in the year 1957. Here's another request for the doo-wop couple. Now, this great group out of Cincinnati, Ohio had over 50 releases on two of Sid Nathan's labels, Deluxe Records and King Records. And the lead singer, Otis Williams, was the lead on every song except one record he did not do lead on. And the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy, requested that lone single that he did not do lead. Otis Williams did not, but someone by the name of Lonnie Carter is on lead, not Otis Williams, although it says on the label Otis Williams and His Charms. So this is for the doo-wop couple from June of 57 on the Deluxe label, The Charms, called Don't Deny Me.
Don't deny me your love tonight. Papa, don't deny me one sweet kiss. Papa, honey, please, I beg you this. Papa, hold me, honey, real, real tight. Turn me down some other night. But don't deny me. Don't deny me your love tonight. Papa,
love tonight. Don't deny me your love tonight.
June 1957 release there for Otis Williams and the Charms on the Deluxe label. Song entitled Don't Deny Me, Don't Deny Johnny G of original vinyl 45. So you can hear them here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. And here is another girl group sound. I like both sides of this 45. And this is one that George Tompkins wants to send out to John Clemente. This girl group is out of Philadelphia, PA. And it's on K. Williams' Kaiser label. K. Williams, a DJ in Philadelphia. He also owned the Kaiser label. It's with Howard Biggs and the orchestra. This one going out to John Clemente from March 57. They're called the Edwards Sisters on Kaiser Records. It's called Don't Make Me Cry Again. That's going out to John Clemente from George Tompkins. A cool tune. Actually, both sides are good on this one. The Edwards Sisters, March 1957 on the Kaiser label. Don't Make Me Cry Again. We continue here. We are in the year 1957, and this group is from Glen Cove, Long Island. Came out on William Henry Miller's Acme label, and this was the song that I voted number one in that 1957 Relic Rack survey. This was my number one vote. It features Henry Williamson on lead. This one from September 57, Acme Records. Give a listen to the Sunbeams and their tune called Please Say You'll Be Mine.
Please
September 1957 release there. They're called the Sunbeams. The Sunbeams, they're from Glen Cove, Long Island, as many of those groups from Long Island recorded for the Acme label. Please Say You'll Be Mine is the name of that one. Henry Williamson on lead. Their first release, by the way, came out on the Herald label back in 1955. There's talk in the chat room if they were the Orients on the Laurie label. That may be. But we'll continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for a request for the Colonel. And when all the members of the Del Vikings, except for one, left Phoebe Dot for the Mercury label, there was a name battle between Mercury and Phoebe Records, but eventually Mercury Records won. So by mid-October, I think, of 1957, Phoebe nor Dot Records, they no longer could use the name Del Vikings. They had a cease and desist to stop to use the name. So on this release from November of 1957, Dot released this Del Vikings 45 as Crip Johnson and Chuck Jackson. At the same time, Phoebe released it as the Del Viking Crip Johnson and Charles Jackson, and then it came out again in 1959 on the Petite label just as Chuck Jackson. But anyway, I have them all. I'll show you the other two copies, those of you watching on the YouTube video, but I'm playing the best sounding copy I have, and that's the first way it came out on the Dot label. And this is for the Colonel. It's with Chuck Jackson on lead. This one from November 57 on Dot. Chuck Jackson. It says Crip Johnson and Chuck Jackson, but it's Chuck Jackson. It's called Willette.
I went away a long time ago. I left a girl, I left her there to stay. Will she remember me that day when I returned? I love you, yes I do. But now I'm mine. Give me one more chance.
Going out to the Colonel there. That's Chuck Jackson on lead with the Del Vikings. From November 1957, On the Dot label, Willette is the name of that one, although really on the label it says Crip Johnson and Chuck Jackson because they could not use the Dell Vikings. And that one there, it's also on the Phoebe label. The times are all different. I don't know what's going on, but I never really timed them all, but I should try that. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into the year 1958, and on the last Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for Evan Blatt. He requested the Popsicles on the Night label, Night Records out of California. The song was called Thumbprint. I think it was John Clemente that asked me to flip the 45 over, but this is the side I do prefer, and we'll send it out to John Clemente from September 58. These are the Popsicles on Night. It's called This Is the End.
This is the end of a love affair, of a love I couldn't share. This is truly the end. This is the end of a love of me, of a kiss of me. This is truly the end. I remember the first time I met you. I said I love you so, but now all of that's over, and now it's time to go. This is the end of a love so true, of a love that I knew. This is truly the end. I remember the first time I met you. I said I love you so, but now all of that's over, and now it's time to go. This is the end of a love so true, of a love that I knew. This is truly the end. This is truly the end.
As by request for John Clemente in our YouTube chat room, those are the Popsicles. September 1958. I can go for a nice popsicle right now, believe it or not. That one there on the Night record label, This Is the End. I say that is a duo. I don't think that's a trio or a quintet. That is a duo. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here now in the last 50s edition. I opened up the Vinyl Treasure Show with this group from the Bronx, New York. They were known as the Unique Teens, a 45 my aunt purchased in the fall of 1958. She owned it on the Hanover label. Featured the jump side called At the Ball. Now, she purchased it for the ballad side, which was somewhat of a local hit here in New York. It was number 23 on the station WMGM, and it features Carl Petrus on lead. This one from September 1958. Give a listen to the Unique Teens playing the Hanover release and their tune called The Genie.
I
Those are the Unique Teens. I always listen to the end of that record because I know that record so well because my aunt used to play it all the time, both sides. And there are different versions on the Hanover release. And you can tell at the end of the record, there's different subtleties about it. Either the falsetto is in the background or it's up in front, but you can tell at the end. Same thing with At the Ball. Now, the Ivy release, which came after this, I think in 1959 or 60, those are completely different tracks. But on the Ivy release, you will get different. I don't know what they did. They either messed up the masters, very similar to like the Tonettes on Oh What a Baby. You get different tracks for some reason. Some of the pressing plants messed it up. I'll probably do it. I wouldn't do it on like my regular show, but when I come on live, that's why you want to subscribe and click that bell. I'll play all the versions, at least at the end, and you'll be able to hear them because it's pretty interesting. It is. But I like that record, The Unique Teens, September 58 on the Hanover label. Their tune called Genie. Johnny G here. We are in the year 1958, and on the last Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for a new listener and a new record collector. Her name is Katie. She also has a YouTube account. It's called Vintage and Vinyl. I think she collects like Coca-Cola bottles and a lot of other vintage stuff, but she's getting into records. I think mainly albums though, versus 45s. But you should check out her YouTube page. It's called Vintage and Vinyl, and she gives me a big plug, so I got to thank Katie for that. But she requested Nick Santamaria and the Capris that I featured a couple weeks ago, their hit called There's a Moon Out Tonight, although I featured my 1958 press on the Planet label. So before I file this one back down in the No Humidity Basin, it was Daryl Letts that said, Johnny G, you can't file this back until you play the flip side. So we're going to send this one out to Daryl. This is the 1958 press on the Planet label. These are the Capris with Indian Girl.
Short time ago, I really got to love her so. I met her one day in Math, and started on the old warpath. Well, I love my little Indian, I love my little Indian girl. Well, after a while we went for a walk. She taught me how to use the towel, no hook. I missed everything but a little old leaf. That's when she said that I was a chief. Well, I love my little Indian, I love my little Indian. 5 little 6 little Indians, 7 little 8 little 9 little Indians, 10 little Indian girls. Wow. Well, she gave me the name of a little sparrow. She told me how to use a bow and arrow. I finally got my eagle feather, and now we're happy Indians together. Well, I love my little Indian, I love my little Indian girl. 2 little 3 little Indians, 5 little 6 little Indians, 7 little 8 little 9 little Indians, 10 little Indian girls. Wow. Well, now we're as happy as can be, living together under the OTP. Every night we do our dance. I really found my Indian romance. Well, I love my little Indian, I love my little Indian.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Capris, Nick Santamaria And the Capris there, the flip side of There's a Moon Out Tonight, song entitled Indian Girl. I have that one on the Planet label. I featured it on the original label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. No fire, although local fireworks here we had. People, households shooting off fireworks here in the backyards. If you want to see them, you can, but they'll probably be doing them all night. But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year 1958. We continue with more flip sides. This is a rare 45 out of Philadelphia on the Chord label. The group was called the Del Rays, and they would later record as the Teen Kings on the B label. They were originally from Reading, Pennsylvania. I played the A side of this 2 weeks ago. It was called Our Love Is True. Let's give a listen to the ballad side before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. Now, the lead singer on this is Walter Buster Lockman, and sounds like he's about 13 or 14 years old here. From 1958, these are the Del Rays on the Chord label. It's called One Kiss, One Smile, and a Dream.
One kiss from your lips, one touch from your hand, one twinkle from your eyes, and at your command, one smile from your heart, and deep down inside, slowly but surely, in my temperature rise. If only you could see just what you have done, I'm sure you cling to me and equalize us as one. I dream divine, if you be mine and love me truly, as long as the moon
Those are the Del Rays, a.k.a. the Teen Kings. They came out of the Teen Kings on the B label. 1958, One Kiss, One Smile, and a Dream. That one there on the Chord label. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, spinning original vinyl 45s. At the beginning of the show, I featured the Solitaires, a request for Ron and Dorothy. The side I played was called Big Mary's House. And last week, I played a request for Joe Shacatano by the group called Embraceable You. That was Joe's #1 song that he voted for in the 1959 Relic Rack survey. Let's give a listen to the flip side of that 45, which was written by the second tenor for the group, Buzzy Willis, and it features the great Milton Love on lead. This one from December 58. We go back to the Solitaires, High Weiss's Old Town record label. The song is called Round Goes My Heart.
Round and round and round and round and round and round I go. Round and round and round and round and round and round I go. Around goes my heart. I'm always thinking of you. I'll never ever be blue as long
That's the 15th of, what did I write this? The 15th of 18 releases on High Weiss's Old Town record label for the great Solitaires. Milton Love and the Solitaires, December 1958. Round Goes My Heart. Round goes Johnny G's turntables here every Saturday from 10 to midnight as we continue here. Now, here's a request for Nat Papagallo. And Nat, I'm glad to hear that your surgery came out well and you're on the mend. And, excuse me, he requested this group from Richmond, Virginia. It's their only release. It came out on the Bow label. They're called the Chuckalucks. The Chuckalucks. This one here from October 58. Bow Records. It's called Heaven Knows, parentheses, I Love You.
Heaven knows I love you, the angels do too.
Heaven knows I love you, the angels do too. But darling, I wonder, do you? Oh, darling, please say it's me you adore. The stars, how they twinkle and sparkle at night. The moon, yes, it glows so yellow and bright. Oh, darling, please say it's me you adore. Your letters were so sweet and gay, but darling, I'm blue since you went away. Yes, I love you, darling, want you for my own. Oh, darling, I love you. Oh, heaven knows I love you, the angels do too. But darling, I wonder, do you? Oh, darling, please say it's me you adore. Please say it's you I adore.
As by request for Nat Papagallo, I like that record too. I remember finding that. Found two copies of this record in one of the flea markets, one for a quarter, another one for 10 cents. And there were two. I was going, why these look different? One had a line and the other one did not have a line, but I took them both. But this one without the line plays better, but I don't know if that's the first press. But anyway, I just took the better sounding 45, but that's going out to Nat, October 58, the Chuckalucks there on the Bow label. Heaven knows, parentheses, I love you, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasures show. And how many records did I play tonight, Daryl? How many records did I play tonight with the word rock in the title? I think there were a few records I played tonight, because here's another one that you requested, by the way. But I filled an old request a couple of weeks ago for the Colonel as we were heading into the summer. Played that song by the Pals on the Turf label from August 58. Also came out on the Guidon label a year later in 59, but the song was called Summer Is Here, and it was Daryl that asked if I could play the B-side of the 45. So we're going to send this one out to Daryl, and I'm featuring it on the Turf label, August 58. They're called the Pals, and the song is called My Baby Likes to Rock.
Till you are ready to stop.
My baby likes to rock. Oh, my baby likes to roll. Yes, my baby likes to rock. Oh, baby likes to roll. Well, she rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever wanna stop. My baby likes to rock. Oh, my baby likes to roll. Yes, my baby likes to rock. Oh, baby likes to roll. Well, she rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever
rock and roll.
My baby likes to rock. Oh, my baby likes to roll. Yes, my baby likes to rock. Oh, baby likes to roll. Well, she rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever wanna stop. Well, she do not like the mambo. She do not like the cha-cha. All she likes is that rock and roll.
Crazy chicken, ooh la la.
My baby likes to rock. Oh, my baby likes to roll. Yes, my baby likes to rock. Oh, baby likes to roll. Well, she rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever wanna stop. She rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever wanna stop. She rocks around the clock, says she never, never, ever wanna stop.
That one going out to Darrell Letts. Darrell Letts there by the Pals, August 1958. My Baby Likes to Rock. It's on the Turf label. And I think Wade Flemings does a song called My Baby Likes to Rock. Or is it Everybody Right? Something like that. It's a flip side of Here I Stand, I think. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. We are in the year 1958. Now, in the last 50 show, I played a request for The Colonel by Eddie Singleton and the Chromatics. Featured it on the Amsco label. It was called Too Late. And that Amsco release came out in October of 57. Then Brunswick Records released it in July of 58 with a different flip side. And the Chromatics are backing up another singer by the name of Little Augie Austin. He would have a later release on the Pontiac label in 1960, which is a pretty good tune. But anyway, let's give a listen to this one here. We'll send it out to the Colonel, July 58. Little Augie Austin and the Chromatics on the Brunswick label. It's called My Heart, Let Me Be Free.
You keep on reminding me of a love that is lost to me. Oh, please, my heart, let me be free. Let me be free. You're letting me waste my time on a love that's no longer mine. Oh, please, my heart, let me be free. Let me enjoy the music of the birds on the wing. Let me forget how she smiled and how her arms used to cling. How I long for a brighter day, give a new love the right of way. Oh, please, my heart, let me be free. Let me be free.
So those are the Chromatics, Chromatics. They're backing up actually two different artists on their Brunswick release. We just heard Little Augie Austin and My Heart Let Me Be Free. That one from July 58. The flip side, it's Eddie Singleton and the Chromatics and that song Too Late, but originally came out on the ASCO label. Johnny G here. We are in the year 1959 now, and a request for Ron and Dorothy Feba for this group called the V8s, not to be confused with the group by the same name from Asbury Park, New Jersey, that recorded on the Vibro label. As according to the bass of the group, Frank Hosendove, that the Asbury, he was a member of the Asbury Park V8s. This record is not them. So people thought that it was the same group, but he said no, it's not. Even though it's spelled, or actually it's spelled slightly, it's not even spelled on this label here. It's V dash the number 8 apostrophe S. So they're called the V8s. It's on a label called Most Records. This is going out to the doo-wop couple from June of 59, the V8s with Pretty Girl.
I met a pretty girl walking down the street. She looks so sweet, she can't be beat. Oh, I wish she was mine. Yes, I wish she was mine. If she be mine, I could love her all the time. Say, pretty baby, what's your name? She said her name was Beverly. Oh, Beverly, I love you. Yes, Beverly, I want you. Please say that you will be mine. Well, she took my head, my heart beat like a clock. Tick, tick, tock, yes, tick goes the clock. Yes, tick goes my heart. Well, I love her so I can never let her go. Yeah, 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 baby. I don't need maybe. Girl, you drive me crazy. I love you, baby. Please say that you love me. Well, she kisses me, she holds me tight. She squeezes me, really love her so. Yes, I can never let her go. Please say that you will be mine. Yeah, 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 baby. I don't need maybe. Girl, you drive me crazy. I love you, baby. Please say that you will be mine.
As by request for the doo-wop couple there, they're called the V8s. The V8s, I don't know where they're from, but I could have had a V8. I could have had one. Anyway, that's from June 1959 on the Most label, Pretty Girl, as we continue into the year 59. Next, a special request for listener Nat to his wife, B. He wants to send this one out to his lovely wife, B. The group is from San Antonio, Texas. They had 2 releases on the Harlem label out of San Antonio, and this one charted regionally in San Antonio on the KMAC radio. KMAC radio. It was a number 14 tune, and it's a cover of a Moonglows tune. This features Carl Henderson on lead. This is from Nat to his lovely wife B, November 1959. These are the lyrics on the Harlem label. It's called The Beating of My Heart with Hiss. Hiss and all on that 45 on the Harlem label out of San Antonio. That's a special request, Knack to his wife B. The lyrics there, November 1959. Carl Henderson on lead. The Beating of My Heart, a cover of the Moonglows tune. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in the year 1959, and on the last 50 show, my opening instrumental was by a group called the Rockin' R's. And the song was called Mustang. They were out of Metamora, Illinois. Came out on the Tempest label. Now, the flip side is a vocal, and it features lead singer Ron Volz, V-O-L-Z. He's on lead. This one from October 59. Give a listen to the Ron Volz and the Rockin' R's on the Tempest label. It's called I'm Still in Love with You.
If you think that since we said goodbye, I'm so lonesome I'd rather die. You're right, so right, I'm still in love with you. Still in love with you. If you think I'd like to see you blue and always thinking about me too, you're right, so right, I'm still in love with you. I said I wouldn't think of all the happy, carefree years, and I can't forget you, and I can't hold back my tears. You think I'd like to hold you tight and hear you whisper your sweet goodnight? You're right, so right, I'm still in love with you. Still in love with you. I said I wouldn't think of all the happy, carefree years, and I can't forget you, and I can't hold back my tears. If you think I'd like to hold you tight and hear you whisper your sweet goodnight, you're right, so right, I'm still in love with you.
Those are the Rockin' R's. Actually, Ronnie Volz and the Rockin' R's, known for their rockin' instrumentals and the cool guitar rockers. That's a nice doo-wop sound there from October 1959. It's on the Tempest label. It's called I'm Still in Love with You. Johnny G, still in love with his 45s. I play them every Saturday from 10 to midnight. Let's continue here. Have another 45 I played on the last 50s show by a group called the Octaves on the Val label. A group out of Detroit, Michigan. Featured the A-side. It was called Mambo Carolyn, written by the lead singer. His name is Dominic Cervalli. He also wrote the B-side, this one from October 59. Give a listen to the Octaves on Val. It's called You're Too Young.
You're too young, too young. You're
my love.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I wish I was too young. I do. The Octaves, October 1959. Dominic Chiravelli, he's the lead singer. He wrote the tune You're Too Young, came out on the Val record label. Let's continue here. Got two more records to go in 1959, and lots of flip sides from last week, I have to say. And here's another by the Moonglows, as the doo-wop couple requested last week or 2 weeks ago, Don't Be Afraid to Love, which was an old master of done by the original Moonglows. But Chess used Harvey on the label for Harvey Fuqua, but the A-side was Harvey's new group, which included at the time a very young Marvin Gaye. While you listen to this next tune here, you'll hear the speaking part is actually done by Marvin Gaye, so listen very closely because that's Marvin Gaye you're going to be hearing. So we're going to send this one out to Daryl because he asked if I could play this. April 1959, Harvey and his new group on the Chess label, and their tune's called 12 Months of the Year.
I'll always love you, darling, 12 months of the year. Even when the snows fall, our love will be clear.
January.
We'll drink a toast to old anxiety.
February.
On Valentine's Day, please say you'll be mine. And in a whoa, you know the wind's gonna blow.
April showers, rain, rain, rain.
Birds from the Southland will feel the air. Flowers blooming everywhere, but in a June, you're gonna be my bride, and I'll be your groom.
July, August, and September.
On our honey, yeah, on our honeymoon, we're gonna be so happy until eternity and in October. Oh, you're out of this world. Oh, I give thanks, yeah, 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 for such a wonderful girl. But in a December, we're gonna kiss under the mistletoe, for I'm in love, 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 you're in love, you're in love, we believe you're in love.
Always love you, darling, 12 months of the year. Say perhaps the birds will live to sing. Our love, darling, will be clear.
12 months of the year.
Send that one out to Daryl Letts in our YouTube chat room. That's Harvey. Harvey and his new group of Moonglows, although it just says Harvey on the label, Harvey Fuqua on lead there, April 1959. 12 Months of the Year. That one there on the Leonard Chess's Chess record label. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Now, as we continue here, we go to Zell Sanders, J&S label out of the Bronx, New York, although this group, they're from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And we can't call this a girl group. According to John Clemente, they're not a girl group because there is one male, a member of this group, and his name is Kenneth Wilson, and he wrote both sides of this 45. The other members of the group were Eleanor Morris, Constance Morris, and the lead singer Virginia Davis. Collectively, they were known as the Endeavors. I had this flip side to play since March 7th because I played the other side called Suffering With My Heart. So let's flip it over because both sides of this record are good. It's not a cheap record either. It's not easy to find on the J&S label. It's from 1959, The Endeavors on J&S. It's called I Got the Feeling. John's correcting me. Those are the Endeavors. What is he saying? Okay, I messed up. I said John doesn't consider this group a girl group, but he says if there is a male in the secondary role in the group, I still consider them a female group. Gotcha, John. Okay, so I could post this on your website. I thought I couldn't do it. It had to be all girl groups. Anyway, there's a cool record there, The Endeavors from 1959 on the J&S label. A song entitled I Got the Feeling. Johnny G has the feeling every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies as we continue here. And earlier in the actually I opened up the show with a group out of Philadelphia, the Furness Brothers, played their instrumental way back when on the Future label called You Name It. They return here because the doo-wop couple, they asked for a bunch of the Furness Brothers recordings. So we're going to fit one in here now as we move into June of 1960. This is on the Ray Cox label. It's Teddy McRae and Eddie Wilcox, Ray Cox label out of New York City. So this is going out to the doo-wop couple, the Furness Brothers. It's called One Little Moment with You.
One little moment, one little moment, one little moment with you. I know a place where a mountain touches the sky, yes I do. Beauty so rare, but it can't compare little moment with you. Oh, I watch the sunrise at dawn, and it's a beautiful view. My heart stands still, yet there is no thrill like one little moment with you. My darling, if the stars should fall from out the sky above, I'd never miss those stars at all, as long as I have your love. If I should find every treasure lost in the ocean so blue, I'd gladly trade all the golden jade for one little moment with you. My darling, if the stars should fall from out the sky above, I'd never miss those stars at all, as long as I have your love. If I should find every treasure lost in the ocean so blue, I'd gladly trade all the golden jade for one little moment with you.
That's going out to the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy, the Furness Brothers. Furness Brothers from June 1960 on the Ray Cox label. One Little Moment with You is the name of that one, as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And we go back to Philadelphia this time for a request for Joe Shacatano. And this group is called the Mohawks, and they're doing a cover of a Roger and Hart tune originally from 1941. This is the group's only release. It came out on Felix Valdera's Value label. This one produced by Doc Bagby. It features Richard Tabrun on lead. This is going out to John Shacatano, July 1960. These are the Mohawks on the Value label with their rendition of the tune Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered.
I'm wild again, beguiled again, a will-pairing pairing child again.
Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Am I
July 1960 for the Mohawks by request for Joe Shacatano. It's on the Value label, a song entitled Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And I think it was the June 13th, 2020 show that I featured Lee Williams and the Moon Rays on the King label, their cool up-tempo side called I'm So In Love. Let's give a listen to the flip side here. From October 1960, we go back to Sid Nathan's King record label. You flip over I'm So In Love, you get this tune. It's Lee Williams and the Moon Rays. It's called parentheses No, I Won't Cry Anymore.
Won't cry anymore. I won't cry anymore. 'Cause it's your last time, baby, walking out of my door. Whoa, pretty baby, you know I love you so, but I'm gonna let you go. And I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, so that you won't hurt me anymore. I told you that I love you time and time again, but I don't want a woman who'll drive me insane. That is why I'm gonna let you go. Me anymore. I don't know why I love you. You've been broken every rule, and I just found out, baby, I've been nothing but a fool. That is why I'm gonna let you go. Yes, it's your last time, baby, walking out of my door. I won't cry anymore. Yeah, I won't cry anymore.
March 1960 release. Yeah, that's a B-side for Lee Williams and the Monterey's on the King record label. Kind of cool bluesy side there. No, I Won't Cry Anymore. Johnny G not crying yet as we continue here. We are in the year 1960, and on couple weeks ago on the Vinyl Treasure Show played a request for Ron and Dorothy. They wanted to hear Tony Mora and the Dewells. I played the intended B-side of their 45 on the Dewell label. It was called Looking for My Baby. That was the original version that was covered by Larry Chance and the Earls, but this is the intended A-side. This is the intended A-side from March of 1960. Let's give a listen to Tony Mora and the Dewells on the Dewell label. The name of the tune is called I Can't Believe.
can I do? I love no other. For me, there's only you. Maybe someday I hope and pray you come back to me. Whoa. You love another. What can I do? I love no other. For me, there's only you. Maybe someday I hope and pray you come back to me. You come back to me. You come back to me. Whoa. I can't believe.
That's for the doo-wop couple Tony Mora and the Do-Wells, D-O-W-E-L-S. I think that's how they have it. As, yeah, Do-Wells, but the label's D-U-W-E-L-L. March 1960, it's called I Can't Believe, and I can't believe Johnny G's spinning records at this time. We're going to continue here, and here is a request for Nat Papagallo. This group is called the Four Kings. They have an earlier release on Clarence Johnson's CJ record label. It was called I Don't Want Nobody But You. That was back in 1960. As we move into 61 now, they're backing up a singer by the name of Ben Little, who co-wrote this tune. We go to June of 1961, going out to Nat. Ben Little and the Four Kings on the Revival label. It's called Forever Mine.
Do you want me? Do you need me? Tell me, darling, that you love me forever and ever. You'll be mine. I'll always love you sincerely, always want you here beside me forever and ever. You'll be mine. Since you are so close to me, now I know the meaning of ecstasy. No, 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 don't ever leave me. Stay with me, yes, I'll always love you sincerely, always want you here beside me forever and ever. You'll be mine.
I like that tune. That's a cool tune. Ben Little and the Four Kings. Going out to Nat Papagallo, listening down in Florida, June 1961. It's on the Revival label. It's called Forever Mine. Let's continue now, and many of you know this next group out of Odessa, Texas. Actually, it's a request for Richard Fox. I was afraid to play this record because I think when I played their other one, they gave me a copyright strike, and I had to eliminate the song from the stream, and then all the chatter in my YouTube chat room, it disappears. It doesn't resave that. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this record. But it's a request for Richard Fox. This lead singer was a teacher at Black Shear Junior High School in Odessa, Texas. He recruited 4 of his students who loved to sing, and Roy Orbison heard them and brought them to the Monument label. The group recorded this Orbison Joe Melson pen tune, features Virgil Johnson on lead. This is by request for Richard Fox, August 61, The Velvets on the Monument label. The song and their tune called Laugh. Johnny G's got to laugh.
Love laughed at you and made you blue. Now here's what you should do. We'll laugh though your heart is breaking in two. You'll laugh, don't let them know he hurt you. We'll laugh and pretend true love will come again. We'll laugh, laugh and laugh, laugh. Though the one you love is really gone. Yeah, laugh, even though you be alone. Try to laugh, yeah, and pretend true love will come again. Yeah, laugh, ask about the laugh, you gotta laugh. Well, let me hear you laugh now, though it's hard, so hard for you to do. Laugh with me, 'cause you see, I've been there too. And pretend true love will come again. Yeah, laugh and believe it's not the end. Yeah, laugh like a clown. Don't let your heart break down. Yeah, laugh, ask about the one love, you gotta laugh. Love laughed, it's true, but look at you. Now you're laughing too.
As by request for Richard Fox there, those are the Velvets. The Velvets with Virgil Johnson on lead, August 1961 on the Monument record label, song entitled Laugh, and that's on the Monument Styrene 45. We're going to play that one on Brian's special Styrene show as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We are in the year 1961. I have to ask John Clemente if he knows anything about this next tune, because I do not, but it's a request for Nat Papagallo. Now, the first label for this, which I do have, is on the Lost Night label, but Lost Night Records out of Philadelphia, but I also have it on the Zara label, which is out of New York, and it's the group's only release. This one written by Al Brown, so he has involvement with this group, and it's by request for Nat Papagallo. I'm featuring it on the Zara label. They're called the Veltones, and the song is called I Need You So.
go away. I need you so. I need you so.
As by request for Nat Papagallo, the Veltones there on the Zara label. Actually, I have a better copy. I have a nice clean copy on the Lost Night label. I should have found, but I would have to look at my unfiled stuff. But that one there on Zara Records as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Now on the last Vinyl Treasure show, I played a request for the doo-wop couple by the Wanderers, Ray Pollard and the Wanderers, that began recording back in '53 on Savoy. The song was called A Little Too Long from June of 1961. It was their eighth release on the Cub record label. And who was it? It was Darrell Letts that asked Johnny G to flip over that 45. As this side charted, this was a number 17 record on KEWB in San Bernardino, California. So we're going to send this one out to Darrell Letts. This is these are the Wanderers on Cub with their rendition of the tune I'll Never Smile Again.
Do-do-do, never, oh never, oh never.
No, never, never, never,
I'll never, never smile again until I smile at you. Whoa! Never, never laugh again. What good would it do? Oh, for tears would fill my eyes. My heart would realize that our romance is through. I'll never, never love again. I'm so in love with you. I'll never, never thrill again to somebody new. Whoa, within my heart, I know that I will never, never smile again until I smile at you. Never, no, never, never smile. Never,
That's going out to Darrell Letts there, the Wanderers, Ray Pollard on lead, the Wanderers, their rendition of the tune I'll Never Smile Again. Came out on the Cub record label. The doo-wop couple requested a bunch of the Wanderers records. I do feature them from time to time, but some of the cuts that they requested I have not, so I will get those on future Vinyl Treasure shows. Johnny G here. We are here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, have more requests to go here, and here's another one for Nat Papagallo. This group is from Trenton, New Jersey. They have this lone release on Clarence Johnson's CJ record label. The tune was written by Alfred Gatewood, and it was first done by a group called The Rivals in I don't know if it was 57. It might have been 58 or 57 on the Darrell label, and the group members were Carl Bronner, he was first tenor, James Winder second tenor, David Mudd baritone, Moses Key the bass, and the lead singer is Major McBride. Major McBride on lead here. So this is going out to Nat from March 61. Give a listen to The Vines. The Vines on the CJ label and their rendition of the tune I Must See You Again.
I must see you again. You again. I must see you again. I don't know where or when, but I must see you again. This just can't be the end. I know not where or when, but this I only know. Oh yeah, that I must see you again. And I saw you at a party Saturday night under the dark blue light. And suddenly you turned my way. And darling, it was love at first sight. Why got to see you smile? When I look in your eyes, and I don't know where or when. Oh yeah, but I must see you again. Oh yeah, I just gotta see you again, baby. Oh, I don't know what I'll do if I don't see you one more time. I just gotta look in your eyes, please, please. I just gotta see you one more time.
As by request for Nat Papagallo, The Vines from March 1961, a cover of the tune I Must See You Again. That one there on CJ Records features Major McBride on lead as we continue to hear on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And up next, a request for Daniel Kubacki, who was in our YouTube chat room. Now, he requested this group from Brooklyn, New York, and I guess we can call this one an answer song to the Tokens that had a big hit on the RCA label with a tune called The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Now, the lead singer of this, his name is Mike Regal, and he was the lead singer of Bobby Roy and the Corduroys on the JDS label back in 1959. Then he formed this group, and he called them the Romeos, and this is their only release. This charted number 25 on WMEX out of Boston, Massachusetts. So this is going out by request to Daniel Kubacki. This one from January 62. The Romeos on the Amy label. It's called The Tigers Wide Awake on Styrene.
Please be quiet, or there'll be a riot. 'Cause oh, for goodness sake, you think your daddy is upstairs sleeping, but the tiger's wide awake.
Wide awake, 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 wide awake.
Daddy's wide awake. Kiss me tender, but please remember the tiger's wide awake. G.I.
your daddy turns into an awful grouch.
Kiss me tender, but please remember the tiger's wide awake. Gee, I love you, but up above you, the tiger's wide awake. Help, help, help me. Tiger's wide awake. I thought I told you to wait in the cage.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki, the Romeos. The Romeos, January 1962, came out on the Amy label. It's called The Tiger's Wide Awake. In parentheses, it has The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Lead singer on that, Mike Regal. Mike Regal, he was the lead singer as in Bobby Roy and the Corduroys on the JDS label back in 1959. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime as we wind down here. A couple weeks ago, I played a song by Maureen Gray, her first of three on the Landa label. It was called Dancing the Strand, written and produced by Johnny Madera and David White. They also wrote and produced the flip side, and Maureen Gray is backed up by the Chantels on this side. Thank you, John Clemente, for that info. Let's go back to April 1962. Maureen Gray on Landa with a B-side. It's called Oh My.
I love it when you touch. You'll never know how much. Oh my, it's a heaven when we kiss, especially like this. Oh my, ever since I saw you, wanted to call you my God. Darling, never say goodbye, 'cause that would make me cry. Oh my, just say you love me, and that you need me, and if you want me, tell me why, and I'll surrender, be yours forever. Darling, I'll be yours tonight. I know our love is right. Oh my. Just treat me tender, dear. Those words I love to hear. You know, darling, say you love me too, and promise me that you won't go. Just say you love me. Say you love me, and that you need me, and that you need me, and if you want me, and if you want me, tell me why, and I'll surrender, be yours forever. Darling, I'll be yours tonight. I know our love is right. Oh my, and I'll surrender, be yours forever. Darling, I'll be yours tonight. I know our love is right. Oh my.
B-sides here as we start to wind down on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Maureen Gray. That's the flip side. To Dance in the Strand, a song entitled Oh My. Let's continue here. We go back out to the West Coast, go out to San Bernardino, California for this group. Their signature song, I'm sure you know, originally came out on the Fleet International label. It was then picked up by Bob Keene's Donna label in 1961. Up next here, I have their second biggest hit. This was number 84 on Billboard, number 14 on WSGN out of Birmingham, Alabama. It features Joe Jones Jr. on lead. We go back to August 1961. These are the Pentagons. The Pentagons with I Wonder If Your Love Will Ever Belong to Me.
I wonder if your love will ever belong to me. Well, a voice from deep within keeps talking and it's telling me that a girl with such a heart can only tear my dreams apart. But I love you, dear, and I don't care what it says. That same old voice within my heart says to find another love. But how can I, my dear, for I know it's only you I will love. And I don't believe a word, not a single thing I've heard. And my love is yours until my dying day. Someday, when you're feeling fine, then I say to you that it's you I really love. And somehow I'll make you mine, and you cling to me like a girl in love. That same old voice within my heart says to find another love. But how can I, my dear, for I know it's only you I will love. And I don't believe a word, not a single thing I've heard. And my love is yours until my dying day. Wonder if your love will ever belong to me. Wonder if your love will ever belong to me.
They're liking that one there in the Top Shelf Oldies and the YouTube chat rooms there. The Pentagons, August 1961. That's the first of two on the Jamie label. Joe Jones Jr. on lead. I Wonder If Your Love Will Ever Belong to Me. That comes out with variations in the titles. This was the West Coast press. I think it had the long title. I think I have another one with parentheses. It's kind of odd. Ricky Nelson also does a fine version of that tune. As we continue here, almost done on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next 45 only came out on a special promotional copy. It's kind of weird because one side of the label is red, the other side is blue. And let me see. This says, please regard the reverse side as a separate disc. The flip on this one is by somebody named Savina Kativa. So this is like a promotional record, but you can only get it this way. It's not an easy record to find. It's from April of 62. They're called The Marvels. It's The Marvels. It's on the Pyramid label, and the name of the tune is called Guiding Angel on Styrene.
My guiding angel, hear my humble plea. Help me find the lover
I hope and pray to find true love and peace of mind. Please lend your guiding hand to me. What would we mortals be? My guiding angel, use your magic charms, find my wandering lover, guide her to my arms. My guiding
That's a rare 45 by a group called the Marvels. Marvels, April 62. It's on the Pyramid label. I'm going to play the other side. I'm going to let you listen to it. The song called Guiding Angel. The other side is a red label, and it's by Savina Kativa. And the name of the tune is called, let's just hear a little bit of this. Maybe I'll get a copyright strike on this. Let's see. This is the other side of the record. Listen.
Lift up your head.
What do you think about that? Like that tune?
Get out of bed.
My goodness. Isn't that interesting? You get a cool doo-wop or ballad on one side and you get that on the other side. Anyway, Johnny G here. We're starting to wind down here. I got, let me see, I got to get another request. Another 3 requests in that are going to be following. This one, though, is a flip side. Last week, I played a request for Bop and Bert. Bop and Bert, listening in the Bay Area, requested this group from Camden, New Jersey. They were known as Gabriel and the Angels, and he requested the B-side of their 45 on the Swan label from July 62. It was called Don't Wanna Twist No More. But we're going to give a listen to the intended A-side of this. This record was number 51 on Billboard, was number 44 on Cashbox. This was a big number 1 record on KEWB in San Francisco, California, back in July of 1962. It's the first of 2 for Gabriel and the Angels on the Swan label. It's called That's Life, That's Tough.
When things go wrong, this always happens to me. I never get no answers or sympathy. They just say, one time in school I failed in history. Said to the teacher why this happened to me. It couldn't be my fault, the tests were too rough. She said, well that's tough. What's tough? Life. What's life? A magazine. Well how much does it cost? It costs 20 cents. But I only got a nickel. A nickel. Oh, well that's tough. Then I was cheating and my girl saw me. She said that she was gonna set me free. I said don't put me down now, it's you I love. But she just said, well that's tough. What's tough? Life. What's life? A magazine. Well, how much does it cost? It costs 20 cents. But I only got a nickel. A nickel. Oh, well that's tough. And then I got a call from Uncle Sam. Went into town to see the draft board man. I thought I told him of all my luck, but he just said, what's tough?
Life
What's life?
a magazine.
Well, how much does it cost?
It costs 20 cents.
But I only got a nickel.
A nickel. Oh, well that's tough.
Is that all you're gonna say to me?
Well that's tough.
Won't anybody ever listen to me?
Well that's tough.
You're all against me, all of you. Why don't you say something else?
Well that's tough.
That was a hit. That was a hit. I mean, a hit in San Francisco. I wonder if the kids of today would understand that record. It says, "What's Life?" Would they know it's a magazine? They would have no clue about that, I'd say. But that's Gabriel and the Angels there, July 1962, the first of two on the Swan label with their tune called "That's Life," parentheses, "That's Tough." Let's continue here. Got 1, 2, 3 more 45s to go. We're going to sign off here. And up next, a request for listener Joe Shacatano. And thanks for your email, Joe, and all your cool requests. But wanted to hear this Los Angeles-based group on the Valiant label. They're covering a song that first came out back in 1928, believe it or not, on the RCA Victor. I think it was called Victor at the time. Helen Morgan was the first one to record this. It was from some musical, I think, called Showboat. Then in 1954, it was recorded by a group called The Hideaways on the Ronnie label. I do not have that 45. I have seen that 45, but I do not have that 45. I probably never will, because it goes for about, I think about $7,000, 7 or 8,000, I think, from the guy that I know that paid for that record. But it's a very rare 45. I think I have it on Lost Night. It's going to stay on Lost Night. But we're going to move up 10 years now to 1964, with a version by a group called Danny and the Memories. Now, the lead singer here, Danny, is Danny Whitten, and he would later, in 1969, join Neil Young's band Crazy Horse. But here he is doing a doo-wop by request for Joe Shacatano, June 1964, Danny and the Memories on the Valiant label with their rendition of the tune, "Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine."
Fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. I'm gonna love one girl till I die. Can't help loving that girl of mine. Some say she's lazy, some say she's slow. Tell me I'm crazy, well maybe I know. Can't help loving that girl of mine. When she goes away, that's a rainy day. But when she comes back, the day is fine. The sun will shine. She can come home as late as can be. My home without her is no home to me. Can't help loving that girl of mine. Who can help loving that girl of mine?
Whoops, that's by request for Joe Shacatano, Danny and the Memories. Danny Whitten on lead there, June 1964 on the Valiant label. Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine. It's unfortunate that Danny Whitten, he was fired by Neil because of his drug abuse and would eventually die on November 18th, 1972. He was only 29 years old, but he was on lead on that one. As we continue here, 2 more 45s to go for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for Evan Blatt, this group from Brooklyn, New York called The Harps. And their answer to Shep and the Limelight's song Daddy's Home was called Daddy's Going Away from March of 64. It was Darrell Letts that asked that I flip the 45 hours, so we're going to send this one out to Darrell Letts. It's on the Laurie label. It features David Nichols on lead. This tune written by Ernie Maresca, March 64 for the Harps, and their tune called Marie. Yes, John Clemente, that group first recorded as the Camelots there, but here they are as the Harps, going out to Darrell Letts, David Nichols on lead, the Harps on the Laurie label, their tune called Marie. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, please send me an email. It's at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Thank you all for your requests. You keep me busy. You keep Charlene busy pulling out these records and researching them. But this is really the only time I get to hear all my records. I mean, you see, normally what I'm doing is I'm playing excerpts of them to find out which ones I could play on the show. That's what I normally do. But again, I can sit back for 3 hours on a Saturday and just enjoy my records. I used to do that before I was a disc jockey, an amateur disc jockey, by the way, back in 2005. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Again, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. You got some requests? You want to talk about the show? You got any recommendations of themes for the show? I can work on that. But anyway, you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there on that website, or you can go to my YouTube account. I've been getting notifications now of heads up warning of copyright. I've never seen that before. I thought something happened to my stream. It tells me excellent connection, and then it says possible copyright infringement. So maybe now they can check it instantly interesting. But anyway, if they do ever shut me down on the YouTube and I can never get it up, you can always go to vinyltreasures.net. At least you can hear the show there. I don't have to erase them. I will refuse to do that. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks, for tonight. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help and all my frustrations that I have. It's very difficult to deal with a frustrated Johnny G. But we're closing the show tonight with another request for the doo-wop couple. This group is out of New York, as both sides of this 45 were written and produced by the Tokens. The Tokens, it says Bright Tunes Production. I think that's what it is. But the group is called The Wonders, and I like the flip side of this better, but the doo-wop couple requested the B-side. It's called Marilyn. It features Frankie Spinal Paris on lead. It's from June of 63, Colpix Records, The Wonders with Marilyn. So we heard from Marie, now we're closing with Marilyn. That's going to do it, folks. Again, thank you so much, Charlene. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. Dave is on from 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies and all the other shows during the week here on Top Shelf. You want to tune in, diverse disc jockeys fighting in chat rooms, DJs getting kicked out of their chat rooms. Lots of action going on the Top Shelf Oldies scene. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Again, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Back to the grind on Monday for Johnny G. But I'll be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock for more original vinyl 45s from the 50s and 60s out of my collection. That's it. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Marilyn, oh Marilyn, you're always on my mind. Morning, afternoon, and in the evening time. Marilyn, you're my special date. Gee, but I think you're great. Yeah, 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 yeah. Marilyn, oh Marilyn, the twinkle in your eyes, smile up on your ruby lips, make me realize why I've chosen a girl so sweet and fine. Marilyn, I want you to be mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. Marilyn, oh Marilyn, I'm gonna marry you someday. We will be so happy, don't you know? We will live together in a palace of dreams. I'll be your king and you'll be my queen. Oh, Marilyn, that's our destiny. A lifetime in paradise, only you and me. Darling, you are treasure, our love can't be measured. Marilyn, I love only you. Marilyn, I love only
Okay, folks, that's going to do it here. Let me show you the last two records, then Johnny G's got to go. I need something cold to drink. God, I turned the AC off. So here's the record read. This is the record you want. The Harps on Lori. This is a styrene copy. I have multiple copies of this. It was booted too. I think you can get a boot for $1. I mean, Lori reissued it. It's a lot better on vinyl. I have a vinyl promo of this, but this is a West Coast promo, which I don't like styrene records. Brian can tell you that. So that's that one. And also this one, The Wonders, we played it for the doo-wop couple. It's the B-side. It's okay, this side. I prefer the flip. It's really nice. Say There is a good record, I say. And I have this on a nice vinyl promo. That's the way you want the Cold Pixes. Although not all the Cold Pixes are vinyl promos. You can get those styrene promos too. But even on those, I prefer the DJ copies. Anyway, thanks again, folks, for sticking around. Thank you, Charlene, all of you. Thank you so much for this labor of love that I do, and I'll see you next Saturday, okay? So enjoy your week. Stay safe out there. Safe and happy week, folks. Good night. Good night, all.